An associate of his from his past says, "Hey, John, I need you to do this job for me." John refuses, but
What the
ultimately
fuck?
What's up, Five Knuckle fans? Just got back from my advanced screening of Jordan Peele's Get Out, and it was really good. Now, this guy I knew understood horror movies, and I wanted to see what he would bring to the table when he took a writing and directing credit on one of them, and it turned out to be a pretty good flick. Daniel Kaluuya, who you might know from that episode of Black Mirror, plays a photographer with a haunted past in this movie. He decides to go with his girlfriend to visit her parents out in the middle of nowhere. And, of course, him being black and her family being white, racial tension ensues. There were a lot of racial elements in this movie, and they played fairly well. They could have easily been tacked on, but they were built in with an understanding that made them feel natural, welcome, and part of the story. And man, is this story messed up. It's a very well shot movie at that. Definitely knew how to shoot some intense scenes, intense close-ups. It was intense. Musical choice was great. The lighting really worked in most of these scenes. And there was actually a lot of symmetry in this movie as well, like symmetrical backgrounds, stuff like that. You know, completely symmetrical backgrounds with the main character being in the center of it. That is difficult to do, and it was done very well. There is a lot of unease that slowly builds. At first, it's just casual awkwardness of them meeting the boyfriend, and it just slowly eases its way into generally disturbing stuff going on in this movie. I ain't gonna spoil it right here, but yeah, wow. I'd say my only real criticisms of the movie is that it starts off a little bit basic near the beginning, although I would see that as more or less building and developing the characters. But to some, it might start off as basic before it gets into it. Also, there were scenes in the trailer that were not present in the movie that I was actually looking forward to seeing some explanation to how they'd be woven in. I'll get into those in the spoiler section. Overall, I would definitely recommend this movie. It is a decent horror movie and a damn good one to come out in the year of 2017. Can't wait to see what Jordan Peele brings to the table in his next horror movie, should he make one. And considering the critical acclaim this movie's getting, plus the box office smash I know it's going to be, he's gonna make a second one. Maybe. Probably. Hopefully. And spoiler time here into the spoiler section. Okay, so I did not know where this movie was I did not think this movie would go this route with it. Okay, throughout the whole thing I thought it was just genuine hypnosis, but no, they take out their brains and put them into their bodies, and there's always just a sliver of them remaining. That's messed up, and I didn't see it coming, but it actually makes so much sense when you look back on it, so that was a good twist. I also like the reincorporation of him hitting the woman and doesn't drive away because his mom died in that exact same fashion. That was a nice little character moment for me. I'm glad they wove that in. A lot of movies would just throw in a tragic backstory and have little to do with the plot other than to make you feel sorry for the main character, but it actually motivates his actions and gets him into quite a bit of trouble in the movie. I mean, for better or worse. And that whole, I forget what they called it, but that whole other zone where he's just, floating down into the pit and sees, the square of what's going on in the real world just slowly floating away. That was pretty cool. I didn't expect to see that kind of imagery in this movie. It was a good surprise for me. Now, as for the two things that didn't really make it into the movie, one is the knight. You sort of saw in the trailer how there was some dude wearing a knight helmet and had a gun in his hand. That didn't appear in this movie. The helmet appeared in the passenger seat, but it was just cast aside, so I'm sure they were going to put that in, but took it out for some reason and just had that in there as an establishing thing. Who knows? Another thing that didn't make an appearance in the movie that I was kind of looking forward to was that whole skeleton deer thing. There was a lot of build-up with the deer in this movie, and I was wondering how that was going to play in. They hit the deer, there's a deer mount on the wall when he's strapped to the chair and learning about what's going to happen to him. but the demon skeleton deer doesn't make an appearance. I guess maybe it would clash for what they're going for. There's no supernatural elements in this movie, so if it was, then good on you for taking it out. Could have easily been a hallucination, though. I'm not sure why it was removed, but who knows? That's the creative Hollywood process. Maybe a producer told them not to use it. Maybe Jordan Peele decided at the last minute to take it out. Either way, demon skeleton deer, not in the movie. I'm actually glad he made it in the end with his TSA buddy. That was pretty good. This movie had a sense of humor to it as well. It knew how to balance horror and comedy together, even makes fun of some of the cliches, like in a scene where one character's walking down the road and the car's following him, and he says, like, nah, fuck this, and just walks the other direction away from the car. That was good. But yeah, overall, it was good to see those two get out of it alive. I liked the main character, and he was pretty well developed. And the TSA agent had some good laughs in it too, as like the voice of reason and all this madness. But those are just my thoughts, guys. What are yours? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on the social media. And always, stay golden.